You're muted, Joe. So I'm gonna bring the screen share back up. Yep, cool. And I'm gonna reuse this for sure. Okay. So, what we're really looking at here today, and welcome everybody. What we're really looking at today is the opportunity to move from where we are to a future that's very symbiotic. And the problem that we're looking at is how fragmented things are and how there's a lack of coherence across not just, let's say, I have Joe and Khalil here in the upper right corner. We'll minimize them for everybody else watching. But Joe has a business and and let's use that example of how we can even communicate together and work together. Imagine what it's like for nations full of Joes and Bryans and Khalil, who's also on the call here today. So imagine what that's like. So we have this like fragmented kind of thing, that picture on the left, and on the right, you see it's a lot more structured. Now, what we don't want is like black and white. We want a lot of color, a lot of different types of colors and a lot of different types of identities and those kinds of things. We don't want some strict 1984 kind of Frankenstein. Again, we we have this problem. We need to go there, and while we're going there, there's going to be problems on the way. So we don't want that to become a Frankenstein. So I just discussed that we're in a local way acquiring hardware that's very profitable for us. We get not only great value on those purchases, but we're able to optimize the value along the way by using it on our network. And that's really some great local businesses, big local impacts, jobs created, human returns. So that top right box. Now, if we go to education, the teacher training model, everybody knows it's broken. We need to help update this. This is a local effort that's going to also have to happen. So these local groups, we want them to be out doing game night and doing a business night and doing a developer night as well, because we need all these players to build these new companies, to onboard agents, to get ready for a quantum ready workforce, which means the new agent internet and being able to have these businesses sell into that space and the human space. So two markets now. And so we want that to be very coherent. So we're in the middle right box, like we're playing Jeopardy here. So we've got research for 300. So the last row, validation, ethics, and resonance index. This is some heavy compute I've been doing for a while, looking at like where big investment is, but there's no community. I call that an overheated city. It's just a good example, and we'll keep it there, of the heat maps that I have now of the entire world. And we've been preparing for this for a long time. So the data signals and systemic stability, what does that mean? We want to know where quality is. And everybody needs that now. You can need to, as a business, hone into what are your unique workflows, what's your unique data, specialize into that even more over time. So you have a higher quality signal, the highest quality signal to get through the noise, because the noise is just going to get bigger. And then with all of that bigger noise, we need bottom right corner. That shield represents to everybody. We need safety along the way. So we don't want to be too impetuous, but let's just take a look at this here real quick. There is a big infrastructure of companies out there, and you are a small business probably listening to this. They have distribution, they have money, they have proprietary data, 30, 40, 100, 200 years of it. They're entrenched with not just lobbying, but all sorts of things like that. You have speed. They take a lot longer to adopt. So hard compute is something we can do locally on the left, top right. The application sandbox is really interesting. We can apply it to some very cool stuff like life-saving drugs. And then research legitimacy. All right. So everybody wants to feel like we're actually going to make this transition well. And we look to our researchers to be able to provide us that foresight. So we need to be supporting them. Phase one, that really is a test case with two governments that we have memorandums of understanding with, and partnerships with people like IBM and Quantinium on the table and offered. And so we also have worked with a fleet of family offices and highly successful people who have had Lawrence of Arabia type journeys. It took them a long time to be successful. Social stuff was hard for them. So the focus is aligning people, but in the bottom right is the complicated stuff, converting theoretical alignment into signed agreements and measurable hardware optimization. What is the outcome there? Again, remember, we're connecting people, helping people have less effort across this example of Bhutan. This country would eventually over the course of our process do like things like hackathons and then help better align markets and create more jobs that keep their youth and smart people there. And then over time, they can automate their own problems, which is a Kingmaker strategy, help the people solve their own problems, help them not need you instead of entrench you like a World Bank kind of controlling approach. And that is the way that we make the transition wisely is we need to let go of control in a wise manner, which is what we've always done. We just need to have a better way of checking in that quality back to it. So governance is key, as you see in the bottom. We're coming at the end of this here, but phase two is really about scaling. This is about more networks online. This could be done in a year. The first phase could be done in the next 6 months. What we're doing with Gorilla Edge and really, really cool governance, which we've been preparing, which is on my blog, brianstratton.me, and all over some of our sister sites. We're really looking at a way for us to work together across the world coherently. That's what we're talking about here, and speed up what we're able to respond to. And then, phase three is even bigger than this, but this was just me being conservative. This is working with governments, public sector. This is rolling out the brand new layers like Linux. Like, what is that new Linux for the future internet? That's not something we'll necessarily solve, and we could completely fail, by the way, along the way. But this is we need to put these bets in the best people's hands because we do not want to miss this target, period. We, period, do not want to miss this target. And as you see, we need to collaborate together with lots of people to hit the target better. So just overseas with these agreements that we already have, we're able to start a sandbox and we're onboarding not just countries, not just cities, but partner agreements and spending time with people in our community. Which is ultimately what we're going to come. So our world will become a place where we can spend more time with our loved ones, where we can do a week of work in a morning. That is now possible. So we need to be able to scale managed by our institutions at the same time. So being symbiotic with governments and things along those lines. Okay, cool. I'm not sure how relevant this is for a conversation today, but really this is going to be beneficial on the left for hedge funds and governments. We have some interesting data for them. We want them to be making better bets at a macroeconomic level. Of course, we don't want to be wasteful. And then at the same time, installing these hole-in-the-wall type computers all over the world, just like the famous hole-in-the-wall experiment, which gave kids in very poor and often refugee camps an opportunity to have an access to a computer where they could be part of decentralized science and compute at a level where we can get these kids trained up on game-changing, community is safer kind of skills, period, in a matter of weeks. Like that's now possible. Hallelujah. All right, cool. So the credibility stuff with AI is what we need to maintain, and not just with each other, but we also need to be like a good player, right? We've opened Pandora's box. So in a way, we asked for it, and let's play ball. I'm very optimistic about this. Some people are doomsayers, and they see more of a security posture, but just like a school that needs a fence, so the kids feel safe to play near further out from the school. We need that now. So we need the security seekers. We need the doom seekers. We need a coherent set of common denominators. And that is what's going to allow us to really, really, really do this. In the next 90 days, we will most likely close this. I don't see why we wouldn't. Well, actually, no, there's plenty of reasons why we wouldn't, but we've been in this game. I run a fundraising guild. I've been doing deep tech for a long time. The people I have on my team are insanely successful. There's no need to mention how much. And the engine makes sense, not just from computer buys to our partners now who have sales solutions on how to develop this across the world. But holy buckets, underneath all of that is values of bringing people together. I've said it like 6 times. I should say it like 10 more. But this is it, all right? So visionary stuff needs solid execution. That's what matters most. Solid execution, discipline, and it makes sense. So from your little local computer, you could change the world.